Welcome to another Fuzzy World Reading Collective. My name is Fuzzy, and we are here in the library about to read out of Grimm's Fairy Tales. If you want to read along with us, you can go to library.afuzzyworld.net and download the text file and read along with us today. Tonight in Grimm's Fairy Tale, we will be reading the book or the story Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb. One evening, a poor farmer sat in the kitchen poking the fire, while his wife sat spinning near him. At last he said, "What a sad thing it is that we have no little boy or girl to make our lives happy and bright." "Yes," said his wife, even if it were a little boy no bigger than my thumb, how happy I should be. We should love him with all our hearts." Now, sometime after this, she said she had a little boy who was strong and well, but who was no bigger than your thumb. Then she said, "Well, our wish has come true to pass, and small as he is, we shall love him dearly." And because he was so tiny, they called him Tom Thumb. He was given the best of food, but the child grew no bigger and no taller than he was the day he was born. Still, he had bright eyes, and it was soon plain that he was far more clever than most children of his age. More than this, he was lucky in all that he tried to do. One day, when the father was all ready to go into the forest to cut wood, he said, "I wish I had a man to drive the horse and cart after me."
"Oh, father,"
cried little Tom,
"I can drive the horse. Please let me do it. I can drive as well as a man."
Then his father laughed and said, "How can that be? Why, you are much too small to even hold the reins."
Never mind how small I am,"
said the boy.
"You can go as soon as you like. If mother will only harness the horse for me, I will take a seat on his ear and tell him which way to go."
"Well," said his father, "I will let you try once to see what you can do." So off he went into the forest, and when the time came, the mother harnessed the horse in the cart and seated Tom Thumb on his ear.
"Get up,"
shouted the little man into the ear, and the horse started on. When a turn came, little Tom cried,
"Gee!"
and the horse did just as he was told. When he came to the wood, and the horse and cart were turning into a path, two strange men came along. They stood still in wonder, for they heard the voice of the driver and saw the horse take the right turn, but no one was to be seen.
"Hello!"
cried one of the men.
"That is a queer thing. Let us follow and see where that cart stops."
The cart went on into the deep forest and came quite safely to the place where Tom's father was cutting wood. As soon as the little Tom saw his father, he cried out,
"See, father, I have brought the horse and cart. Can't I drive well? Now please lift me down."
The father held the horse with one hand and placed his little son on the ground with the other. Then Tom sat down on a chip, looking as proud as a king. As soon as the two strangers saw little Thumb, they were filled with wonder, and one of them said to the other,
That little chap would fill our pockets with gold if we could show him to people in large towns. Let me try to buy him."
So they went up to the farmer and said,
"Sell us this little man, and we will take the very best care of him."
"No, indeed," said the farmer. "I would not part with him for all the gold in the world." But while they were talking, little Tom Thumb had climbed up upon his father's coat. He spoke so softly that the strangers could not hear.
Father, let me go with these men. I will be sure to come back to you and mother again.
So the father gave him up for a large bag of gold.
How can we carry you?
Asked the man.
Oh, said Little Thumb. Put me on the brim of your hat, or there I can walk about and see where I am going. I will take care not to fall off.
They did as he wished, and as soon as Little Thumb had said goodbye to his father, the two men walked away with him. They went on till nightfall, when Little Thumb, who was tired of sitting on the hat, said,
Stop! Let me down, please.
Stay where you are, little one,
said the man.
No, cried Tom Thumb. I know best what to do. You must lift me down.
So the man took off his hat and placed it on the ground beside the road. And quick as a wink, Tom Thumb sprang from the hat, ran through the grass, and jumped into the nest of a field mouse, which he had seen from a seat on the man's hat.
Goodbye, my friends. You may go home without me now, he cried.
They tried to catch him by poking their sticks in the mouse's hole, but it did them no good. For Little Thumb crept to the farthest corner of the nest. At last it grew so dark that the men could not see, and in a great rage they had to go on without him. As soon as Little Thumb was sure that the men were gone, he crept out of his hole. At first he did not know what to do.
It will not be safe for me to cross this field in the dark,
He thought,
for I shall surely break my legs or my neck if I do.
All at once he caught sight of an empty snail shell.
Oh, how lucky, he said, for I can sleep in there very well.
So in he crept, but just as he was going to sleep, he heard the voices of two men who were planning to rob the parson's house. One said,
how should we get hold of silver?
I can tell you,
shouted Tom.
What was that?
Asked one of the robbers in a fright.
I heard someone speak.
When Tom shouted again,
take me with you and I will help you.
Where are you?
asked the robbers.
Just look on the ground and see where the noise comes from,
said Tom. At last the robbers found him and lifted him up.
You little mite, how can you help us?
They said.
Try me,
cried Little Thumb.
Why, I can creep through the iron bars of the window into the parson's room and hand out just what you want.
All right, well, we'll take you along and see what you can do, for at last, not harm us.
The robbers never thought of Little Thumb's loud, shrill voice, so they let him creep through the bars into the parson's room. As soon as Tom was inside, he cried out as loud as he could,
Do you want all there is in that room?
Hush, no, don't make no noise,
cried the robbers in fright.
Speak lower, or you'll wake the parson.
But Little Thumb did not heed what they said in the least, and he kept crying out as loud as ever.
What shall I give ye first? Do you want everything?
The cook, who slept in the next room, awoke with a start at the sound of Tom's shrill voice. She jumped out of bed, and being in the dark, ran right into the door. When the robbers heard this noise, they took to their heels and ran as if they would never stop. The girl now went for a light, and while she was gone, Little Thumb slipped out of the window and hid in the barn, so that she did not even see him. After a good search in every corner, she went back to bed and thought it all a dream. Little Thumb made a snug bed in the hay, and was soon dreaming of his mother and home. But alas, there were other dangers awaiting him. When the cook got up the next morning, she went out to give the cows their hay, and as soon as it happened, she threw down the very bundle upon which Little Thumb was sleeping. Before he awoke, the cow had taken him right into her mouth.
Oh dear,
cried Little Thumb.
what great meal is this?
But there was a little time for thought, since he had to jump about to keep from being chewed by her teeth. At last, he was forced down the old cow's throat.
Someone has left out the windows in this house, he said, and I find no candles to light.
Worst of all, more and more hay came in at the door until there was very little room in which to move. When Tom could stand it no longer, he cried out,
No more hay, please, no more hay.
Now the cook, who was milking the cow, as soon as she heard him speak, knew the voice for the very one she had heard the night. In great alarm, she screamed out, tipped over her stool, upset the milk pail, and ran out to the parson, crying, "Oh, sir, the cow has been talking." "You are mad," he answered, but went into the stable to see what was the matter. Just as soon as he set his foot within the door, Little Thumb cried out,
No more hay, I don't want any more hay.
Then even the parson was afraid and thought that some old demon had bewitched his cow, so he ordered her to be killed. After the cow had been killed, her stomach, in which Tom was hidden, was thrown away. It was hard work for Tom to crawl through the hay, and just as he poked out his head, a hungry wolf ran by and ate up the whole stomach at one bite. Still, Tom was not afraid, and he called out to the wolf,
Mr. Wolf, I know where you can find the best dinner you ever ate.
And where is that?
asked the wolf.
Oh, at a house not far from here,
said Tom.
You must squeeze through the bars of the storeroom.
You must squeeze through the bars of the storeroom window, and there you will find many cakes and gingerbread and ham and beef, as much as you can eat.
And he went on and told the wolf just how to find his father's house.
Well, said the wolf, you seem to know what you are talking about, and if what you say is true, we shall both have a good dinner.
So the wolf ran until he came into the house, where he pushed through the bars and ate until he could eat no longer. But when he tried to get out again the same way he came in, he had grown so fat that he could not squeeze through the bars. This was just what Tom wanted, and he began to shout and make a great noise inside the wolf's body.
Hush, said the wolf. You will wake up all the men in this house.
All right, answered Tom. You have had a great time eating, and now I'm going to make all the noise I can.
And he began to shout with all of his might. At last, his father and mother woke up, ran to the storeroom, and looked through the crack of the door. As soon as they saw the wolf, the father got his axe, and the mother a long knife.
You keep behind me.
You keep behind me, said Tom's father, and if I don't kill him at the first blow, you cut him with your long knife.
When Tom Thumb heard his father's voice, he cried out,
Dear father, here I am inside the wolf's body.
The father cried for joy and told his wife to throw away the long knife so that Tom might not be hurt. Then he struck the wolf on the head with his axe and killed him at the first blow. When they had cut open the wolf's body, Little Thumb hopped up.
Oh, said his father, how lonely we have felt without you. Where have you been all this time?
In a mouse's hole, a cow's stomach, and inside a wolf, Tom answered. But now I shall stay with you.
And we shall never sell you again, not for all the silver and gold in the world, said his father and mother. Then they gave the little fellow food and drink and new clothes, for those he had on were old and worn out by his travels. The bag of gold which the two men had paid for Tom Thumb was gladly sent back by Tom's father and mother, and all three lived happily together for the rest of their lives. And that was Tom Thumb. I really appreciate you all being here today. Once again, if you want to read along with us in the future, or you want to see the videos archived, you can go to afuzzyworld.net library.afuzzyworld.net will be there. And once again, this was a Fuzzy World Reading Collective. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Have a great rest of your travels and your days. We will see you in the future.